Crouching slot, why are the elves of Ace Brother always so fierce? Pure nonsense, because the Ace Brother knows Pok É Mon the best. Pok É Mon. Big escape game. Blue stars descending in parallel worlds. Selected players from various countries compete for supplies in specific areas, cultivate elves, and eliminate them in battles. The only winner will receive elf descent permission, elf technology, and generous resource rewards. As a mysterious high school student who is the new ace of Xia Guo and the most knowledgeable about Pok É Mon, Ming joins the game to awaken the potential enhancement system. Trust, excellent. Intimacy level reaches 120 or above. The practice of the strong, epic. Cutting off a tree with one strike, 0/100. Breaking through limits, legend 3 out of 3. Beyond evolution. Complete challenge tasks, enhance elf qualifications, collect various materials, and build an elf team. With unbeatable elves at the same level and rich Pok É Mon player experience, Ming leads the way and sweeps the battlefield. Seize the right to descend, seize various supplies, and let the Xia lead the elf era, living a beautiful life where everyone has a Pok É Mon. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Mysterious Ace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You are the best ace players selected by our summer team. You may encounter unknown difficulties and difficult challenges when you go here. But please remember, no matter what you encounter, don't give up easily. The people of the whole country will be behind you, silently supporting and paying attention to you. I believe that in this brand new era of elves, our summer will overcome obstacles, rise up and catch up, and once again achieve great rejuvenation. Ming held the qualification certificate in his hand and waited for the game to begin. More than half a year ago, shortly after Ming traveled to this parallel world, Pok É Mon Escape game landed on Blue Star and was broadcast live over the sky. The game will randomly select 1,000 Blue Star humans as elf trainers to survive, compete, and eliminate with other trainers in the elf world. The player who survives to the end can obtain the permission to descend the elf, a certain scientific technology in the elf world, and rich resource rewards. The development of Blue Star is subtly different from the Earth in the past life of Ming. Blue Star does not have the existence of Pok É Mon, the world's #1 IP. So initially, Blue Star humans were confused about Pok É Mon, but they were full of awe for a mysterious existence with such great power and played according to his guidance. Until the end of the game, Kanto region, the miraculous creature elf really descended on Blue Star, and all countries on Blue Star fell into madness. This is clearly a major transformation of the times, and a country that can lead the elf age will lead the future development of the entire Blue Star. The Great Escape and Kill game takes place every 3 months, experiencing the Kanto and Chengdu regions. Now it has reached its 3rd game, but the situation in Xia country is not optimistic. In the first 2 Pok É Mon Escape games, the United States, Australia, France, and Goryeo received elf descent privileges, scientific and technological rewards, and resource rewards, while Xia received very little. The ultimate winner of each game can bring back their own elves, props, and abundant resources. Trainers who have survived to the top 100 can bring back their own elf team, and in addition, they can only obtain 1 qualification certificate. Although it's just a consolation prize for doing it again, the qualification certificate can allow unselected people to participate in a Pok É Mon game, which is priceless. There are currently no wild elves or fruit trees or any other resources in the entire Xia kingdom, only 15 trainers holding elves. There are only 7 trainers who still hold certificates, 4 of whom want to fight again, and the remaining 3 choose to hand over their qualification certificates to the state for recycling and no longer participate. In 2 consecutive games with little to no gains, Xia Guo's top executives searched for gold in the waves and selected 3 mysterious new ace players. In addition, with the 4 elites who made it to the top 100 in the previous game, these 7 people will form an ace team, which will be the ultimate reward for the third Great Escape game. The 3 mysterious newcomers have ace cards, background unknown. I have participated in the strongest brain and the youngest genius biology professor at Peking University. Zhang Yan. The military unified examination, Pok É Mon knowledge, physical fitness test, and willpower test are the top 3, and the Special Forces King who was mocked as the Dragon King. Wang Long. Standing at the pinnacle of all students, the mysterious high school student with the deepest understanding of elves. Dear Roar. The 3 of them have different focuses. Zhang Yan has a good overall view, Wang Long has the strongest physical ability and willpower, and Lu Ming has the best understanding of Pok É Mon knowledge. Amidst excitement and unease, the third Pok É Mon Escape game officially begins. With a swoosh, Lu Ming and others disappeared from the sight of the leaders and guards out of thin air. At the same time, a grand voice rang in the ears of all Blue Star people. Pok É Mon. The Great Escape game is about to begin, with 1089 players participating. Players will serve as Pok É Mon trainers, using the Fangyuan region as a stage to confront other players in a constantly shrinking safety zone, collecting supplies, picking up props, subduing elves, and enhancing their abilities through cultivation and battles are the key to this game. The player who survives to the end will receive the permission to descend the elf, various scientific and technological achievements, and abundant resource rewards. Players have 20 minutes to determine the nickname of the game and familiarize themselves with their elf companions. In 20 minutes, the game will officially begin. The mysterious voice had just ended, and a series of ding sounds echoed in Lu Ming's mind one after another, making his scalp tingle and his consciousness dazed. Applicable environment detected, potential enhancement system activated. This system can accelerate the enhancement of elves' potential abilities by challenging tasks. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The data eye has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. Skill collection has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. Precious item detection has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. 20 cool postures for throwing Pok É Mon balls have been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. 30 seconds to teach you how to reasonably increase your effort value has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The simplified operation steps for hand rubbing special balls have been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The correct posture for flirting girls failed to load, the plugin has been deleted. Ding, auxiliary plugin. Fish Pok É Mon nest making experience has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. Flash Pok É Mon metaphysics breeding posture loading failed, plugin has been deleted. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The complete collection of massage techniques that make elves unable to stop has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The correct posture to save life under the iron fist of the superpower phantom beast has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The recipe for making elf food that even fools can learn has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The best way to consume the stupid beast tail has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. Mega Evolution Handsome Dialogue Collection has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. Z.Move Dance Step Explosive Modification Dazzling Dance has been loaded. Ding, auxiliary plugin. The experience of using multiple systems simultaneously has been loaded. Detected residual talents and abilities, awakening talents. I'm so. Lu Ming felt that his brain was about to explode, so he rolled his eyes and fainted. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Coma Brother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Go back in time. According to past patterns, Pok É Mon Escape game will start at 10 a.m. Xia Guo time. A huge light screen will appear over the city where the player is located, broadcasting the game footage of the current city's players. Viewers can also view the first perspective of each contestant through the mysterious appearance on the official website of Pokémon on Blue Star Network. As one of the secret trump cards of Xia, Ming has its own exclusive 2-way live broadcast room and a luxurious commentary team. Famous CCTV beauty hosts. Shen Jiai, academician in the field of biology at Peking University. Li Changsheng, celebrity popular voting champion. Hu Guo, and CCTV celebrity mouth. Bo Lu. Take a screenshot of the contestants on the official Pokémon website, and these four will provide a full commentary on Ming's performance. It's not yet 10 o'clock in the morning, but the commentators have already prepared their self-introductions, gathered around a pitch-black large screen, waiting for the live broadcast footage. The three newcomers, including Ming, should not reveal their identities before the game starts, but their secondary live broadcast room is already warming up. The promotional slogan of the Ming Second Road live broadcast room is, "Standing at the pinnacle of countless students in Xia, the mysterious high school student who understands Pokémon the most in Xia country." As someone who stands out among countless students, Ming's level of attention is even higher than that of the other two newcomers. Because he represents civilians. According to the preheating slogan in the live broadcast room, the other two young professors and special forces kings either come from extraordinary backgrounds or have experienced extraordinary experiences. Only Ming was killed among countless Xia country students who wanted to become elf trainers. He represents the longing of ordinary students. The mysterious high school student who understands Pokémon the most. How much do they really understand? Are you really a commoner? Do you have an older brother to talk about? I heard it was an ordinary high school student who emerged from the ace selection all the way. Is it really fake? Speaking of such an important matter, is it really good to hand it over to an ordinary high school student? Believe in our athletes. Believe in our motherland. Cheer up, my fellow countrymen. Great Xia, come on. I also want to become a Pokémon trainer. Once, just win once. With the permission to descend, we may become elf trainers. It's time. The mysterious voice is starting to broadcast globally. Here it is, the protagonist is about to appear. Amidst the anticipation of four commentators and countless viewers, the third Great Escape game entered the preparatory stage. Soon, the big screen in the live broadcast room of Ming's Second Road lit up, displaying the game scene of Ming. In the picture, the handsome young man suddenly softened and fell to the ground without moving. Dot. Dot. Ha. Ha. A question mark filled the screen, drifted through the barrage, and the four commentators were also stunned. The state of Deer's singing has dealt countless viewers of Xia country a hard blow, leaving them in awe. Why is he lying on the ground and not moving? Is his body in a condition? Using your brain, can you get such a chance if you have physical problems? High school student, knowing that the whole country is paying attention to him, is he too nervous and scared to faint? Ah, that's it. My grandmother is even stronger than him. Think better, what if he's dead? What is standing at the top of the student's head? It's lying on the floor of the square. Brothers, I want to use foul language, I already knew about the academic mess, and now even the election is fake. This one seems to have gone far again. Elf, it seems to be further away from us. Speechless. Damn it, my elf. When will Xia Guo win? What garbage did you choose? It really makes me sick. Shen Jie glanced at the barrage and found that many unpleasant words had been blocked, causing her to feel a bit overwhelmed. Academician Li Changsheng's expression was calm, and he smiled and comforted, saying, "Don't worry, don't panic. Life is long, long enough to fall and get up again. I am a magnificent summer, and I cannot tolerate even a young man's mistakes. All the players who participated in the first 2 games were safely sent back by the mysterious existence, so everyone did not have much concern about Lu Ming's physical condition. The number of selected players in Xia Guo's game has been calculated. A total of 34 players were randomly selected from 27 players, along with 7 players who entered using qualification certificates. This quantity is quite good, but compared to Xia country, which accounts for 18% of the world's population, only 3.1% of the player population still disappoints Xia country's audience. Of course, what disappointed them even more was someone's performance. With only 20 minutes of game preparation time, all players gather on a huge square, choose their own elves, communicate with other players, and form a temporary team. More than 10 minutes have passed, and in the live broadcast of Lu Ming, the ground of the square is still cold and cold, which has caused countless viewers in the summer to deeply regret. Shen Jie and the other 3 have been adjusting the atmosphere. Although academician Li Changxing's expression is decent, he has remained silent for a long time. The barrage of Lu Ming's second live broadcast room is completely impossible to watch, and the screen is full of slander and abuse. Of course, there are also some worrying bullet comments mixed in. After all, the falling time of Lu Ming has already grown abnormally long. The vast majority of people's perception of deer singing has reached freezing point, venting their disappointment and anger on the barrage. Xia Guo has always had the concept of mysticism, and while the game was still in its preparation stage, Lu Ming fell to the ground and became unconscious, which was seen as an ominous omen. The title of Comatose Brother had already topped the hot search in Xia country 10 minutes ago, and then a mysterious force intervened to suppress it. Afterwards, Lu Ming remained silent for a long time, and the mysterious power seemed to be unable to resist public opinion or gave up Lu Ming. Hot searches reappeared and continued to dominate the charts. "Look, wife, it's moving. My son is moving." A military compound in Kyoto, where Lu Ming's father Lu Yuan and mother Yu Xia have long been protected. In just over 10 minutes, they were anxious and on pins and needles, finally seeing the dawn. It seems that our contestants have finally recovered. Shen Jie hesitated for a moment and didn't reveal Lu Ming's real name. The live broadcast screen identifies the player's nickname and health bar. But now Lu Ming has not determined the game nickname, and the nickname position is blank. She can only vaguely describe it as a player. Hu Guo and Bo Lekong breathed a sigh of relief, and Li Changxing also adjusted his sitting posture. At this moment, countless Xia Guo viewers in the live broadcast also noticed that Lu Ming had finally started moving. "I'll wipe." Lu Ming covered his still slightly dizzy forehead and sat on the ground panting. As the only traveler who knew about Pok É Mon, he thought he would be the protagonist at the beginning of the Pok É Mon game, shining brightly and making a stunning debut, leading Xia Guo to dominate the Blue Star in the Elf Age. In the first 2 games, Lu Ming didn't even qualify to enter. Fortunately, relying on his knowledge of Pok É Mon, Lu Ming stood out from countless student auditions and then passed the level all the way. He successfully conquered the high-level officials of Xia country with his prophetic reasoning ability and perfect assessment score, and won a game entry qualification. "I thought I was about to start my Tian Shou career, but when the system received payment, there were too many plugins and talent awakening, which made him dizzy. This wave is a bit embarrassing. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Super Newcomer and Flying Mantis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With his mind clear, Lu Ming stood up and stretched his long lazy waist. He felt particularly comfortable at this moment, as if he had gone through a long winter, with spring flowers blooming and all his bodily functions revived. Talent. Super True Newcomer LV5, effects expandable. This thing is the main cause of his fainting, and the specific effect of deer crowing is unfolding. Super Newcomer LV5, comprehensively improving physical fitness, medium, strengthen the ability to resist attacks, small, strengthen resistance to energy attacks, small, more likely to attract the attention of legendary elves, micro. It can ignore gravity and lift objects or organisms smaller than its own body size. Moderate improvement in physical fitness, slight special resistance to physical and energy attacks, added the possibility of attracting the attention of legendary elves, and finally, disregarding gravity to lift small objects or creatures. Well, these effects are in line with Lu Ming's impression of Xiao Ji in his past life anime, truly a super real newcomer. Lu Ming feels that the last ability is very interesting, ignoring gravity to lift small creatures. Is this the secret of the little intelligence easily lifting 999.9 kilograms Cosmom? Can't give a nickname, don't look at elves, stand still and giggle. Done, there's no way to save it. As a medical student, let me explain that this is clearly due to prolonged fainting, insufficient blood supply to the brain, and then severe intellectual impairment caused by cerebral hypoxia. You don't have any expectations for him, do you? After all, it's a trump card, so it should be a bit of a skill. As long as you hurry up and gather with your teammates, there's no difference. What is the level at which, when a battle is tense, one can quack and faint on the spot, leaving the opponent at a loss? Strongly suggest kicking him out of the main team, this is a big pit. I completely agree. Don't let his rat poop ruin our entire main team. Lu Ming noticed that other players were avoiding him, leaving a large open space nearby. In the past 3 games, Lu Ming was the first person to experience physical problems, and for no reason, they chose to avoid them from afar. Lu Ming smiled and shook his head, it was time to get down to business. Reaching out and touching his waist, as expected, there was an extra belt around his waist. There are 6 circular holes on the right side of the belt, labeled 1.6. There is a red and white Pok É Mon ball on position 1, and the other 5 are empty spaces. There is a small blue waist bag hanging on the left side of the belt, which is a space waist bag and is divided into 6 large areas inside. There is only one area with something, which is a square-shaped electronic device and should be a pocket navigator. Lu Ming took out his pocket and navigated, searching for the information inside. The player's guide items are changing in every game. In the first 2 games of Kanto and City, the guide items are all in the form of Pok É Mon illustrated books, but with different styles. This Fanyuan home game was replaced with the corresponding Pocket Navigator. At this point, there are less than 7 minutes left until the start of the game, and according to the 20-minute preparation time, he has been unconscious for nearly 13 minutes. Please confirm your game nickname as soon as possible, Red. Regarding elf battles, Lu Ming has already decided on his code name, there is no need to delay. Nickname confirmed. He took out his elf ball from his waist and threw it into the air. After entering the preparation square, players have 5 minutes to choose one of the initial 3 sprites. But Lu Ming missed the selection time and randomly obtained one, leaving no choice. The dazzling red light poured down and gradually condensed into the shape of an elf. This is a green praying mantis standing upright, only one head shorter than deer chirping, and should be about 1.5 meters tall. This elf stands on 2 feet, each with 3 toes with pointed claws, firmly grasping the ground, and its powerful thighs are filled with sharp edges like spikes. It has a resolute gaze, a head shaped like a reptile, with 3 distinct edges on top and 2 pairs of pale yellow thin wings behind it. It seems to be trembling slightly due to some nervousness at this moment. The most eye-catching feature is its huge sickle-like arms, and these sharp blades seem to be able to cut open everything in front of it. Hello, first time meeting, Flying Mantis. Lu Ming couldn't suppress his smile and reached out his fist to approach the sword arm of the Flying Mantis. Feeling the sincere emotions of the deer's chirping, the Flying Mantis joyfully stirred up its wings behind it, took off slightly, and punched the deer's chirping with the back of its knife. Sip. Lu Ming checked the specific information of the Flying Mantis. Flying Mantis, LV5, Attribute. Insect/Flight, qualification. Ordinary, feature. Insect premonition, intimacy. 90, ability values. Stamina, E+, attack, E+, defense, E+, special attack, E, special defense, E+, speed, E+, skills. Stare, flash of electric light, attribute energy. 550/550, except for special attack, all other abilities are at the E+ level, which is not bad. The minimum ability value is E, during which only elves with outstanding qualifications or strong racial abilities can possess E+ level attributes. Level, attributes, characteristics, intimacy, various ability values and skills, these things go without saying, they were all present in previous Pok É Mon games. Qualification is similar to the individual value of previous games, which affects the ability values and skill understanding of elves. Attribute energy, like some blue bars in games, can affect the number of times skills are used, and skills cannot be released without blue bars. Because attribute energy does not have the same fuzzy rating as ability values, Ming even guessed the calculation formula for attribute energy consumption based on the statements of the first two trainers, skill power/pp value *25. Players can see their elf's skill power evaluation through the panel, which is the numerical value of skill power, making it easier for them to distinguish the strength of their skills. But no one on Blue Star knows about the pp value. This is a small discovery made by Ming himself, but it's actually not very useful. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4 Disdain, Fly Alone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The initial elf was a flying mantis, and the deer's chirping was quite satisfying. Especially in the first 3 generations, it's hard to get a better card than this. In the first game of the Great Escape, only over 100 types of elves from the Kanto region appeared, and in the second game of the city capital region, the number of elves increased to over 200. Now in the Fanyuan area of the third game, Ming feels that it should be the original home ground of the top 386 elves in the elf guidebook. The so-called native home game refers to the game where only elves before the 386th in the guidebook will appear, but players can cultivate future generations of elves by chance. For example, in the previous game, a player accidentally used Yi Zhishir on Ibu, allowing it to successfully evolve into Ibu. Ibrahimovic's ability to use the leaf stone for evolution was something that only the 8th generation sword and shield could achieve. When Ming saw that scene in the elf database, he was quite shocked. But researchers in Xia all believe that this is reasonable. After all, Ibrahimovic can evolve using water, fire, and thunder stones, and using leaf stones for evolution is not a big deal to them. Setting aside distractions in his mind, Ming looked at his initial elf before and after, and he finally became an elf trainer. As fans of Pok É Mon, generally speaking, they either prefer those with handsome, beautiful, and cute appearances, either you like those with strong elf power, which is the beauty of strength. Another thing is that a small number of fans will be touched by some points of a certain elf and consider them their favorite in their hearts. Although the flying mantis is not the elf that dear Ming loved the most in his past life, it is also one of his favorite elves in his past life. He looks handsome and has strong racial abilities. After evolving into the giant claw mantis, he can also super-evolve. In terms of racial ability, it was born with a full 500 points of racial value, even surpassing the final evolutionary form of most elves, and is considered to be at the finish line from the beginning. Even the 3 elite elves of the royal family need to reach over 30 levels in order to evolve and surpass the flying mantis in terms of racial abilities. Moreover, the evolved giant claw praying mantis of the flying mantis has an extremely excellent attribute combination of insect plus steel, making it even more powerful. Although the blue star man doesn't know how to evolve the flying mantis into a stronger giant claw mantis, his deer crowing knows. He even knew that the flying mantis could evolve into another form, but dear Ming didn't really like the appearance of the axe-splitting Mantis, and even if given the opportunity, he wouldn't do that. He looked around and caught a glimpse of Zhang Yan, Wang Long, and others in the corner of his eye, but they were heading in the opposite direction. Lu Ming shrugged and understood. His teammates despised him for hanging up and didn't want to team up with him anymore. Looking at the crowd around him with either a cautious or disdainful expression, Lu Ming knew that it was also difficult for him to integrate into the new team now. That's good, he's worried about not finding a reason to fly alone. Lu Ming possesses unimaginable Pok É Mon knowledge, and now he has awakened to the system's presence, coupled with the strong racial abilities of the flying mantis in the early stages. He is just an advisor to the Xia Guo team, not the captain. As the commanding officer, teammates may not be helpful to him, but may be a burden. I finally found him, don't you need to notify him to meet up in Fuyan town? Wang Long hesitated for a moment and asked Zhang Yan. In the Xia Guo team, Zhang Yan is the most outstanding navigator, with the highest intelligence and the strongest background, serving as the captain. The player with the highest ranking in the previous game, Ming, served as the vice-captain, while the other three veteran players were elite thugs. Wang Long stood out from a group of leaders with his professional advantage as a special forces soldier. He is responsible for reconnaissance, building combat formations, and serving as a survival advisor. Lu Ming, who was left behind by the crowd, was the elf advisor, and ranked above Wang Long and the three elite fighters. He was the third character in this 7-man team. During this preparation period, they also identified and absorbed many Xia country players as peripheral ordinary team members. Forget it, we have all gone through multiple rounds of health checks and he won't have any physical problems. Perhaps it's due to excessive psychological pressure, after all, he's only in his teens, and taking on such a heavy responsibility makes nervousness inevitable. Our goal this time is to obtain at least one elf descent permission, the task is arduous. Zhang Yan frowned and sighed. In his situation, if he joins the team and makes some special suggestions, do you think I should adopt them? Ming pondered for a moment and felt that what Zhang Yan said made sense. Indeed, Lu Ming's current situation makes me unable to believe his judgment. Since you think bringing him with you would do more harm than good, then that's settled. The captain and deputy captain both spoke up, and the rest of the group had nothing to do with Lu Ming. From the descriptions of Lu Ming by surrounding players, it can be seen that he fainted upon entering and fell to the ground only to get up now. Since there is no health issue, it is just a psychological problem. No one wants a teammate with psychological problems, this is like an untimely bomb. He is still a consultant, and if he is not careful, his teammates may be misled by him and cause accidents together. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. System, Start Up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The strongest high school student has been abandoned by the army. Normal, who would be willing to team up with Coma brother? Poor psychological quality, pure procrastination, why take him? Our army is still very rational, abandon the burden, there is a chance for this battle. Get back quickly, don't lose face on it. Unfortunately, this is the chance. Mad, I also want to become a trainer, even if it's for a while. Foreign networks all know that we carefully selected a procrastinator, and the group is mocking us, Xia. I'm so angry. Faced with this situation, the four commentators in the looming live broadcast room couldn't say anything and could only pretend not to know, continuing to educate the audience on the information of the flying mantis. Lu Ming's parents have long placed their psychological expectations in a very low position, as long as their son is okay, everything else is not important. Lu Ming doesn't know what his former teammates think of him, but he knows that the audience in Xia Guo must have cursed him to death. He is the mysterious ace that Xia has been building for a long time. Every time he sees others guessing the identities of the 3 new ace cards, he actually feels a bit uneasy. In the preparation stage, he had an own goal and fell to the ground for more than 10 minutes at the beginning. It is estimated that he has become famous nationwide by now. There is an ancient saying in the Xia dynasty. Good things never go out, bad things spread far and wide. In fact, the incident of deer crowing has sparked a discussion worldwide. If Lu Ming is an audience member who doesn't know the truth and also wants to curse this kind of sand pen, occupying the pit and not defecating, he will be extremely anxious. But he is the beneficiary, delaying for about 10 minutes, in exchange for the system being activated, earning blood. Darkly activating the data eye, dear Ming glanced over at the white player's elf over there. Melee sheep, LV5. In addition to the basic information that players can see, the specific panel marked in red is also expanded below. Attribute. Electricity, qualification. Excellent, characteristic. Positive electricity, ability values. Stamina, E+, attack, E, defense, E, special attack, E+, special defense, E, speed, E, skills. Impact, cry, electromagnetic wave, attribute energy. 400/400, Lu Ming nodded, the other party's sheep looked pretty good. Qualification is excellent, with 2 attributes of E+, or hidden characteristics. Although this hidden characteristic is not as good as the normal electrostatic characteristic, the positive feature needs to be fought together with the positive/negative feature sprites to improve their special attack ability, otherwise it is a whiteboard feature. Lu Ming scanned several other elves again, with all kinds of information at a glance, as if checking his own elves. Before other players engage in battle, they can only judge the strength of their opponents based on their level and aura. When encountering unfamiliar elves, they must first guess what their attributes are. Although Lu Ming's Pok É Mon knowledge overwhelms other players and is familiar with various combinations of elf attributes, he can only estimate a rough estimate of each ability. Now, when it comes to specific features, ability values, and skill pools, know yourself and your enemy. This feature is completely worthy of his 10-minute idol. Lu Ming noticed that the elves and race abilities of nearby players are around 300 points, and their talents are either ordinary or excellent. The first sheep I saw was already one of the second highest level elves in the vicinity, second only to the flying praying mantis and a baby bear. That is a rare qualification teddy bear. Its attribute energy is 5 points lower than that of the flying mantis, its speed attribute is E, and all other abilities have reached E+. With the strongest physical strength, reaching the D level, this is also the first elf that dear Ming sees that possesses the D attribute. Even the flying mantis with ordinary qualifications, due to its powerful racial abilities, is among the top of these elves, and only this rare baby bear can match it. As long as the baby bear evolves once, with its rare aptitude, it is likely to surpass the ordinary aptitude of the flying mantis. But the flying mantis will not always have an ordinary qualification. System, start. Since it is a potential enhancement system, it should be possible to enhance the qualifications of the elves. Lu Ming looked at the flying mantis and used the potential enhancement system on it. Flying mantis, LV5, properties can be expanded, challenge task, excellent. Trust. Elf intimacy reaches 120 or above. Lu Ming unfolded his attributes and glanced at him. His intimacy with the flying mantis is now 90 points. I don't know if it was the initial 90 o'clock, or if it rose to 90 o'clock after communicating with the flying mantis. Lu Ming feels that the latter is more likely. In previous Pok É Mon games, there were many ways to increase intimacy. In summary, it means eating, drinking, playing, massaging, upgrading, accompanying, and so on. Lu Ming's system happens to have the Complete Massage Techniques plugin. But when he checked the plugin, he found that the massage technique often takes half an hour, and it's too late. The flying mantis is a living elf, and dear Ming thinks there may be other ways to try it. The author said that the ability value is related to the qualification coefficient, including Ordinary, 1, Excellent, 1.5, Rare, 2, Epic, 3, Epic/Hegemonic, 4, Legend, 7, Myth, 10, and Creation, not applicable. For every 0.5 qualification increase, the ability improvement is equivalent to an elf with a race value of 400 increasing its race value by 100, with a margin of error. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Praise is a good way to close relationships. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Flying Mantis, the battle is about to begin. Are you nervous? Ba Li. The Flying Mantis shook its head and was not nervous at all. I didn't realize they didn't dare to come over. Lu Ming pointed around the crowd and asked the Flying Mantis. Pop it. The Flying Mantis nodded in agreement, and it also noticed that these people and elves were far away from them, not coming over. Do you know why? Lu Ming gave a mysterious smile to the Flying Mantis. The Flying Mantis pondered for a moment, then shook its head to indicate that it couldn't understand. Because of you. Lu Ming reached out his hand and pointed firmly at the Flying Mantis, saying solemnly. Hey. The Flying Mantis looked confused and scratched its head in confusion. Because these people all know that you are the most powerful elf here. Because these people all know that you are my elf, and they fear me because of you. Hey. Did you see those elves? Deer Crowing approached the Flying Mantis and patted its shoulder, allowing it to scan the elves with its gaze. Are they as handsome as you and as strong as you? Ba Li. The Flying Mantis shook its head. No, they also have their own aesthetic preferences. These elves don't even have knives, and they have nothing to do with being handsome. But whether it's powerful or not, I don't know if I've fought it before. These elves fear and envy you. You are the most handsome and powerful elf here. The words of Lu Ming made the Flying Mantis blush, and it raised its huge sword arm and scratched its head repeatedly. Lu Ming supported the Flying Mantis and slowly walked to its front, saying solemnly to it. Flying Mantis, my #1 general, the king of this square, use your invincible double-edged sword to reap the fruits of victory for me. Sip. The Flying Mantis responded to its trainer with a powerful roar. Lu Ming looked at the panel and saw that the intimacy between Fei Tian Mantis and him skyrocketed to 150 points. Potential enhancement task completed, easy. Pooh, it smells shameless. Soft-footed shrimp who was scared unconscious at the beginning. Humph, even the elves are fooling me. Lu Ming ignored the disdainful gazes and words of those around him and patted the shoulder of the Flying Mantis. Look, they're jealous. In the game, player communication is balanced, and mysterious beings will convert different languages into the language most familiar to the audience. So it's not surprising that those white or black people speak fluent Xia Mandarin, and deer crowing is also not surprising. Sleeping slot, this be-deceiving elf has quite a set. Huh, the green face of the Flying Mantis has been blown red by him. Don't say, after communicating like this, they will have a lot of tacit cooperation. Harvest the fruits of victory, didn't you wake up from your dream just now? Because of you. They're afraid you'll fall to the ground and hit porcelain. I don't know what's going on, just some crooked ways. Shen Jiai smiled from the bottom of her heart and said, it seems that both the Crimson Player and the Flying Mantis have great fighting spirit. Hu Go said, well, with just a few words of praise, the red classmate brought him closer to the Flying Mantis, which is quite clever. Bull nodded in agreement and said, his words have successfully activated the fighting spirit of the Flying Mantis and made it trust him even more. Li Lao, players in the game can see intimacy. I heard that intimacy can affect the level of cooperation between trainers and elves, is that so? Academician Li Chongqing nodded and slowly educated the audience in the live broadcast room. Intimacy is the level of trust that elves have in their trainers. The higher the intimacy, the better the understanding between elves and trainers, and the better they will execute various commands towards trainers. Some elves can also achieve miraculous evolution when they have enough trust in their trainers. There are also some skills, such as repay kindness, where the higher the intimacy, the higher the power of the skills. After completing the challenge task, Ming directly improved the flying mantis. Normal players can only see the name, level, and stamina bar when looking at other people's elves, just like in previous Pok É Mon games. And outside the audience, in addition to these three items, they can also see the attribute combination of the elves on the field, but that's all. So Ming is not worried at all that his attempt to improve the qualifications of the flying mantis will be discovered. Flying mantis, LV5, attribute. Insect/flight, qualification. Excellent, feature. Insect premonition, intimacy. 150, ability values. Stamina, D, attack, D, defense, E+, special attack, E, special defense, E+, speed, D. Skills. Stare, flash of lightning, continuous / attribute energy. 675/675, challenge task, rare. Insect prejudice. Stimulate the insect's premonition and defeat a worm attribute in a 1.on.1 battle to ultimately evolve into a form elf. The qualification was unexpectedly elevated to the excellent level, and the values of stamina, attack, and speed skyrocketed to D. Improved attribute energy by 125 points and also mastered a move called continuous / with insect attributes. Lian Zhan belongs to the attribute skill of flying mantis. When using skills with this attribute, elves will be more adept and their power will increase by 50%. Moreover, although the initial power evaluation of Lian Zhan is not strong, it is only 40. But its skill effect is that every time it hits an enemy, its power doubles. As long as stacked twice, the power can surpass most ultimate moves. Although in Pok É Mon games, the usage rate is not high due to the need for startup. But in reality, this is actually a pretty good skill. As long as the flying mantis stacks up the power of this skill, it is equivalent to possessing an ultimate move of its own attribute in advance, directly striking with a knife and boasting about indiscriminate killing. With a mouthful of gunfire, the deer's roar not only increased the intimacy of the flying mantis with itself, but also gave it the ability to stand upright and see shadows. Completed the explosion of that rare talent baby bear with excellent qualifications. It has truly become the strongest elf nearby. Ming feels that this potential enhancement system is quite useful, and the future is promising. The flying mantis also looks surprised at its changes. After responding to its trainer, it sensed a new force surging up. It feels like it has become much stronger in all aspects, even comprehending a new skill. Bam! It seems that this is its bond with trainers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Effort value, game begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flies quickly, with only 1 minute left until the game officially begins. In the nameless square, players are nervously preparing for the final stage, rushing to check some elf and rule information, or confirming the meeting place with their temporary teammates. You take a picture, I take a picture. Ming, on the other hand, sat opposite the flying praying mantis on their own empty territory, leisurely playing the tacit game of punching the back of a knife. Are you taking pictures of your mother here? This kid just put it on, isn't he really forming a team? Is this the famous Coma brother? Ace brother Nyobi, let's start playing small games here. I believe it, he may indeed have suffered severe intellectual impairment due to lack of oxygen. Brother, please, let's team up and live a little longer. We poor high school students are wasting opportunities that we can't even hope for. Which professor's son is this kid? My brothers couldn't find out. Actually, he is an ordinary high school student with no background. The barrage is also quite funny. I want the team to kick him and I want him to team up. This is not a conflict. The main team kicked him and didn't want to be implicated by him, but he found someone else to form a team to implicate others, which is a disguised contribution to the country. The four commentators in the Lu Ming Second Road live broadcast room didn't have much concern about him. Most viewers, even after listening to the explanation of the flying mantis, have no concept of its strength. But the commentators are different, they know that the flying mantis is relatively dominant at this stage. More importantly, the flying mantis has a large stride, fast speed, and can fly into the air for a short time. As long as Lu Ming does not confront other teams head-on and runs away if the situation is not right, the likelihood of him passing the elimination period is still very high. Shen Jie and others silently prayed that Deer's singing could survive for a while longer. In this way, it can also help the Xia regain some of the face lost due to him. Lu Ming felt that these 20 minutes were more prepared for players who were completely unaware of the situation. Although there are global reminders before each big escape game starts. But the game scenes will only be live broadcast over cities with players. Many places without players and with underdeveloped networks may have heard of such a mysterious game, but they are almost completely unfamiliar with it. After new players enter, they first need to be shocked, and then become familiar with their own elves. Those who like Fury also need to spend a while on Rua. Then learn some basic information about Pok É Mon, and check out the specific rules of the Big Escape game. Then we also need to consider whether to form a team, who is the captain, where to meet, and whether to form a team. Lu Ming had been following Pok É Mon Escape game since the first game began. As a traveler, he naturally understands that this is the future trend of Blue Star development. He has long been familiar with the basic rules, let alone the information about Pok É Mon. No one understands Pok É Mon better than him. For him, these 20 minutes of preparation time is just searching for a team and familiarizing himself with the initial sprite. Including Zhang Yan, Wan Long, and others, they have long been prepared. What they need to do is to familiarize themselves with the elves while gathering their teammates in this immensely large square, and then recruit some reliable new players from the Xia Kingdom as team members. Of course, Lu Ming is not really wasting time. You can do something in just 1 minute. For example, flipping through the auxiliary plugin. 30 seconds will teach you how to increase your effort value reasonably. To be honest, Lu Ming strongly suspects that his system is second-hand. Except for the first 3 plugins, the remaining plugins are all messy and not ready to use, but rather similar to audio and video files stored on a computer. Pok É Mon are miraculous creatures that can complete a series of biological evolutions in a relatively short period of time. Indeed, the evolution phenomenon of Pok É Mon after upgrading can directly complete the evolution of normal organisms for countless years. Effort value represents the adaptive evolution of elves through self-perception or borrowing from opponents after training or combat, to a certain extent. Ha! Lu Ming pondered this sentence and felt that it was somewhat interesting. Exercising one's attacking end for a long time will make that part of the body stronger, and the elf's attack will become stronger. Referring to other fast elves and optimizing one's body shape will increase the elf's speed. This plugin can optimize sprites by borrowing excellent sprites to obtain corresponding points. Note: the adaptive evolution that elves can obtain is limited. In fact, various organisms can enhance their abilities through exercise. But ordinary organisms find it difficult to reach their limits, and without exercise for a period of time, they will degenerate. Unlike elves, they are miraculous creatures that can optimize themselves through exercise or borrowing from excellent elves, touch their current limits, and keep going. The deer crowing sensation system makes quite sense. So, how should he learn to increase his effort value reasonably in 30 seconds? Methods to reasonably increase effort value. It's just silently reciting in my heart. System: I want to give this elf a reasonable increase in effort value. I talked about basic theories and then told myself that I could use cheats. Okay, this is very systematic, and I did learn it in 30 seconds. I want to increase the effort value of the flying mantis, Lu Ming said silently in his heart. I will follow the flow of kindness. A different and rudimentary panel appeared before Lu Ming's eyes. Flying Mantis LV5, upper limit. 25, stamina, 0, attack, 0, defense, 0, special attack, 0, special defense, 0, speed, 0, there are no points available for allocation. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Favor, place, Malicious. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The countdown to the game ended, and with a turn of the eye, Lu Ming arrived in a cabin. The lights on the cabin display the airship route and current arrival location, while a red pop-up button is in front of the seat. The route of the airship was in the pocket navigator's pocket, and Lu Ming had seen it as soon as he woke up. Draw an arc starting from Wudo Town, passing through Qinghua City, Wolvian Town, Fuyan Town, Inyu City, and Shuijing City. The endpoint is Green Ridge City, and a semicircle is drawn throughout the entire Fengyuan area. The airship was not slow, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived at the first town on the route. Wudo Town. Lu Ming heard the sound of the switch constantly ringing, and many players had already pressed the switch in front of them, landing towards Wudo Town. The choice of landing town is very important. On the first day of the escape, players will basically survive around the landing town. Many players who form temporary teams will agree in advance where to meet and parachute together. After all, the Pok É Mon Escape game does not have a teaming function, and each player has a hostile relationship. Just temporarily forming a team is more helpful in getting through the weak early stages. Although Lu Ming was not notified by the main team of Xia Guo, he could actually guess where Zhang Yan and the others would meet. It is most likely in Fuyan Town, which is adjacent to Yenta Mountain, and it can be foreseen that there are many fire elves nearby. There have been no winners in Xia Kingdom, and after 2 games, only 15 trainers brought back elves. When running for 3 new trump cards, they used elves to help test, and some people were particularly favored by certain attribute elves. Zhang Yan and Wang Long are both particularly favored by fire attribute elves, and they can easily gain the favor of fire attribute elves. So Lu Ming concluded that they would definitely choose to develop near Yenta Mountain, where there are many fire-type elves. As for Lu Ming, although there are no elves with any particular attribute who particularly favor him, all elves will not dislike him. Since there is an excuse to fly alone, Lu Ming naturally won't go looking for them. His target city is Shuijing City. Shuijing City is the second to last city on the route and also the location of the largest department store center in the Fengyuan area. In the game, Shuijing Department Store can buy various Pok É Mon balls, props, skill machines, dolls, and so on. The variety and quantity of props can be considered the most in the entire Fengyuan region. And next to Shuijing City is a hunting area with forests, lakes, and a variety of elf species. It's not difficult to recruit new elf companions or find insect attribute elves to challenge the flying mantis. The geographical location of Shuijing City is also good. You can go up to Inyu City and down to the homes of famous people such as Mount Shinshan and Tree Fruit. As a harbor city, it is also convenient to go out to sea. The most important thing is that next to Shuijing City is the base where the ocean team is hiding. In the game, there are the most precious props, known as the Master Ball that can conquer all elves. Based on the experience of the first 2 big escape games, Shuijing Department Store will definitely not have as many resources as in the game. But it will never be inferior. Each layer inside will at least have a precious prop. So Lu Ming decided to land in Shuijing City and start by battling other players in the Shuijing Department Store. Hello. The airship sailed for a while, and next to him was a handsome blonde man in his 20s who greeted Lu Ming with a light smile. I think I've seen you before. Are you the owner of the green mantis on the open field? Well, I'm Crimson, are you? Lu Ming nodded. Oh, Asians look similar, it's really you, you're from Xia, right? I'm from Xia, won't you introduce yourself? Lu Ming frowned, unsure of what the other person meant by making a conversation at this moment. Oh, sure enough, I mean, Agasti, I hate Xia people. The light smile on the blonde man's face suddenly turned into mockery, and he slapped his palm fiercely in front of Lu Ming. When Lu Ming showed his malice, he had already realized something, but it was too late. Agasti's hand slammed fiercely on the button of the deer crowing. Goodbye, fool. With a thud, the seat under Lu Ming's body was retracted, and the foot guard automatically opened. Without any defense, he fell straight from the airship. The audience in the live broadcast room of Lu Ming's second road exploded. Sleeping trough, can it still be like this? It's over, Crimson fell for it. Damn it, these white ghosts always play this kind of crooked way. Which country is this little yellow-haired from? Let the nuclear bomb hit him. Comatose brother plays normally, basic exercises are not allowed. Huh, Crimson has created history twice, 6. Sleeping trough, please take a closer look at the crimson color, it's so awesome. Ah, can he grab the baffle and hang it empty? Lu Ming's original physical fitness test results were good, coupled with the moderate increase in physical fitness by super real newcomers. At the moment of falling, he twisted hard and quickly pulled his arm outwards, actually hugging the baffle. Then he forcefully clasped his hands together, grabbed the smooth edge of the baffle, and hung himself under the airship. But that's all for now. The airship baffle started to close, and there was no point of force on the smooth lower edge, so he couldn't climb up. Releasing his hands, Lu Ming sneered and pointed his middle finger at Agasti, little yellow hair, I remember you. Agasti, who witnessed all of this with his own eyes, turned pale and lost his previous relaxed and joyful demeanor. Sleeping slot. Is this physical condition really comatose, brother? Is it fake? Is this something high school students can do? Ah. Comatose brother needs this physical fitness, how could he have been unconscious for so long? This world is too crazy, I don't believe it. Brothers, I may have had an illusion because I applied too much glue just now. Ace brother is indeed a bit skilled, amazing. This is really an unexpected development. Shenjie patted her chest and said a word of water. Hu Gu and Bo Lu exchanged a glance and said. This place should be nearing you city, it seems to be okay. Bo scratched his bald head. If it weren't for the scene of Red clamping the barrier and hanging in the air, he would feel Red's performance was too poor. But now, although the result has not changed, Little Red Lu unexpectedly accepted it. This is the first time in 3 matches that this kind of pressing someone else's button has happened. We won't evaluate the other player's ideas. Judging solely from the emergency response of the Crimson player, his condition has recovered well. The previous period of coma did not seem to have had a significant impact on him. Bowl smoothed his thoughts and continued. As for the landing point issue, since Crimson is a solo player, it seems acceptable to land anywhere. Academician Lee stared at the scene and nodded slowly. Blessings and misfortunes depend on each other, and misfortunes and blessings lie before each other. Just be content with the situation. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Landing into a box, elimination rules. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The cold wind from high altitude hit Lu Ming's face, making him feel well. It may be due to the physical fitness and resistance effect of the super real newcomer, he doesn't feel much. Agasti, that's great. Dear Ming remembers this name. Exhale a breath, dispel distractions, let the deer sing and spread its limbs, trying its best to control body balance, and overlook the earth from the sky. He can now see the full picture of the entire Fengyuan region, with oceans, mountains, greenery, and cities seemingly spreading out before him, majestic and spectacular, inexplicably touching. Skydiving is a difficult task, and in such extreme environments, many people find it difficult to control themselves. But the parachutes behind the players are equipped with timing devices, and after a certain period of time, they will deploy themselves with a bang sound, without the need for manual operation. Otherwise, relying solely on skydiving would probably eliminate a large number of people. After the parachute was deployed, Lu Ming's falling speed gradually slowed down, and he could already see a town below him, which was not bad. This is a green town surrounded by giant trees, and the scale of the town is not very large. Most buildings are built according to trees, with different colors, mostly circular in shape. Although houses are generally not large, some tree houses are built directly on high tree tops, which is also very spectacular. As the distance pulled in, Lu Ming could also see some houses built in the middle of large trees, relying on the trunk, while others were built directly on the roots of the trees. The characteristics are very obvious, so deer crowing is easily recognizable. This is the location of the Airpath Museum. Inu City, but it is much larger than the terrain of a few tree houses in the game. Deer chirping as much as possible drifts towards houses with square blue roofs and not built on trees. There are a few buildings that are not tree houses, and there is also a square red-roofed building nearby. The blue top is the symbol of the friendly store, while the red top is the symbol of the elf center. His first goal is to sweep the store. In fact, there are 2 friendly shops and 2 elf centers in Inu City, and Lu Ming leads to the nearby friendly shop. This is already quite rare. Some big cities, such as Golden City in the first game, have 4 elf centers. At this point, you can already see some players landing towards the city of Inu, and just below the deer crowing, there are several players. Each player's parachute is printed with different elf patterns. The sprite printed on the parachute is the initial sprite of this player. Lu Ming doesn't need to look up, he knows that the print on his parachute must be a green flying mantis. Below, the player with the golden little dragon pattern is approaching the city and seems to be landing towards the friendly store near the blue top. After a moment of contemplation, Lu Ming decided to follow him and kill him directly. Little Fire Dragon is one of the most classic 3 players in Pok É Mon, with a relatively stable initial form and smooth growth. If it were to evolve to its final form, the Spitfire Dragon would not only have strong strength but also be able to fly. The combination of fire and flight attributes would completely counter the flying mantis. In addition, the color scheme of this player's Little Fire Dragon pattern looks strange. Lu Ming feels that its color is not orange, but gold. The normal color of Little Fire Dragon is orange, while gold is a different color, which is the color of sparkling Little Fire Dragon. Lu Ming is feeling a bit unhappy now. He can't stand the arrogance of the European emperor. He wants to chase after him directly and kill him. Lu Ming has made some psychological assumptions and even decided to kill this Little Fire Dragon even if it inherits some fire attribute skills. On the one hand, it is to prevent Little Fire Dragon from growing into a future disaster. On the other hand, the first official elf battle was a reverse attribute battle, but it's common knowledge among veteran players. Little Fire Dragon is a good opponent for debut battles. But unexpectedly, the development of the matter was completely different from his expectations. As the player was approaching the landing, he accidentally dropped his parachute on a branch at the top of a nearby giant tree. Due to frequent rainfall, the trees in Inu City grow much higher than in other places. And the parachutes of players are made of biodegradable materials, which will quickly decompose and disappear as soon as they come into contact with other things. The player hovered for a moment and before making any other reaction, the parachute quickly disintegrated. Then, as he lost his parachute, he fell directly from the top of the giant tree. With a loud bang, he turned into white light and disappeared, leaving only a box in place. Tisk, Benby, this shining little dragon has gone blind in vain. Classic landing into a box. In the Pok É Mon Escape game, 3 very important rule mechanisms are placed at the top of the guided items. Number of Pok É Mon holds. Please note that the maximum number of Pok É Mon you can hold is 6. After capturing 5 Pok É Mon, you will not be able to capture new Pok É Mon. Please be cautious when selecting Pok É Mon companions. Forced ejection mechanism. Players must leave a Pok É Mon that has not lost its combat ability outside, otherwise a Pok É Mon that has not lost its combat ability will be forced to eject the Pok É Mon ball. Note: the ejection order is based on the belt hole position. Elimination rule. The player's own health is reduced to 0, or all elves lose their combat ability. Note: the player is immune to damage from both the player and regular elves. Each player can only tame 5 elves, and add the initial elves to form a team of 6 elves. It can be released, but after being released, new elves cannot be tamed, only causing one to hold a maximum of 0.1 elf. The forced pop-up mechanism is the fundamental principle of the game, which prevents players from playing tricks. If they cannot win, they will collect all the elves into the goal and run away on their own. The reason for landing into a box is because the little fire dragon player's health has returned to 0, triggering the elimination rule. In the game, players also have health bars themselves, but they are immune to damage from players and ordinary elves. That is to say, one cannot transform into a boxing king and directly kill other players. After all, this is a Pok É Mon Escape game. But terrain killing can be achieved, and the little fire dragon player was killed by falling because of terrain killing. Ming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. First Battle. Magic Candy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, Lu Ming is also about to become the next dumbass to land in a box. Because Lu Ming followed the other person closely and the route was very close, he himself was about to hit the top of that big tree. In the Crimson Second Live broadcast room, everyone noticed this scene and barraged wildly. The commentators are holding their breath and waiting for the final result. Lu Ming knew that time was tight, but he didn't panic at all. With a flick of his right hand on the elf ball on his waist, a red light flickered, and the figure of the flying mantis appeared in mid-air. Before the parachute scraped against the giant tree, Lu Ming reached out and grabbed the ankles of the flying mantis. Cut it off, fly. The flying mantis understood the meaning of its trainer and swung its 2 knives to cut off the connecting rope behind the deer crowing. Then it vigorously agitated the thin wings behind it, swaying and dragging the deer to land on the ground. There is no danger, there is no danger. It's so funny to turn the floor into a box. Fortunately, Coma brother is not so foolish. You forgot about the physical fitness of the ace brother. He probably could hang from a tree with one hand and fall to death. It doesn't exist. Comatose brother, isn't he unconscious again? Is that right? This Inu city is too pitted and the trees are too high. I saw many players fall and die here in other live broadcast rooms. I roast 3 months ago that the parachute decomposes too fast. I feel like the barrage reviews are reversing a bit quickly. Is it just the ace brother calling now? Because he cursed harshly, he was banned from speaking, huh? Mad, there is also a stupid comparison in our Xia country. 2 players in Fuyan town fell to death from hanging trees. The quality of randomly selected players varies. It's like this. Shenjiai breathed a sigh of relief and patted her chest, saying, fortunately, the Crimson athlete has a quick reaction and survived this landing crisis. Bull spoke up and said, well, the Crimson player knows how to use their elf advantage, which is a good signal. Hugo took a sip of water and added, "This looks a bit scary, but the reaction of the crimson contestant is self-evident." Hugo frowned again and said, "It seems that the red trouble is not over yet. Comatose brother, run quickly, someone is approaching." "Oh my, the commentator has seen it all, why hasn't he reacted yet? He's unconscious again. These three elves don't seem to be fast, Coma brother has a chance to break through. Sigh, this is the end of not forming a team, weak and weak, only able to run away when meeting people. Hahaha, it's useless for him to form a team. He can't even merge with his teammates. Don't forget that he was thrown down by someone. Coma brother, come on. Ace brother, come on." As soon as Lu Ming landed, he saw three players approaching from various angles. At the same time, he also received a mysterious voice prompt. On the first day of the Great Escape, the maximum growth limit of the elf is LV10, obtain initial BP points. 3000, the maximum growth level of elves will be continuously unlocked as the game progresses. On the first day, the upper limit is 10 levels, on the second day it is 20 levels, on the third day as for BP points, they are the currency of the Great Escape game. Each hour automatically adds 1000 BP points, and items can be purchased from vending machines or mobile vending spirits. However, most of the supplies are still obtained in construction or in the wild, and vending machines are emergency and auxiliary in nature. It only has one characteristic, which is expensive. Jones was now roast in his heart. He and other players formed a temporary team of 4 and jointly agreed to land in the city of Inu. Their captain's initial elf is a small fire dragon, or a golden one. When forming a team, he was full of confidence and claimed that luck was invincible. He said he had a deep understanding of Pok É Mon and would lead them to the end. Jones and the other two teammates had only a partial understanding of the elves. Seeing the captain's unwavering promise, they felt that he was indeed quite capable, so they agreed to let the other team lead. Even if they don't reach the later stage, it shouldn't be difficult for the 4 of them to work together to get through the early stages of the game. As soon as the result landed, the captain was very ugly and eliminated. How can this team continue to move forward? I'm afraid it's not going to disperse soon. So Jones made the previously agreed upon battle gesture, gesturing for the remaining 2 teammates to surround him. Since the captain has been eliminated, then choose another captain. Since my teammates are mentally unstable, let's find a way to gather the team's centripetal force. 3 people are enough, they will directly participate in a wave of team-building activities, eliminate the young man over there, and take the first drop of blood. And the 3 of them can also choose a new captain based on their actual performance and continue to move forward. If his performance is similar, it is only natural for Jones to become the team leader as the team-building organizer. As for whether we can win, don't joke. Although the green mantis on the opposite side looks quite fierce, everyone is at level 5, they are all 3 people. Even if this praying mantis can fly, it's useless. All he needs to do is tie his trumpet bud with a cane whip and hit each other 3 times. How can he lose? When Lu Ming saw the 3 people with different expressions, he naturally understood the purpose behind their gathering. Trumpet sprouts, horned goldfish, small fist stones, hee. The quality is not enough, let's make up for the quantity. As my opponent in the first battle, I'm just trying to be strong. The deer chirped with an eager smile. Oh, flying mantis, I'm a bit excited now. What about you? Sip. I'll wipe it, won't I? Coma brother wants to fight 3 tough guys. I'll say he's lost his intellect, you see. So crazy, 1 hitting 3. It's good if you're not in a coma, basic exercise, not 6. Sand pen. The little fist stone has a rock attribute, and the flying mantis is 4 times afraid of rocks. He didn't do his homework well, how was he selected? I understand everything I understand, and I won't explain much if I don't understand. Damn it, Joker. I thought he was good at his previous performance. Does the Crimson player seem to be going to battle these three people? Shen Jiai hesitated for a moment, and Qi Hong started not walking. Now that the other three were approaching from all directions, it was not easy to run. The flying mantis of the Crimson contestant is currently relatively strong, and there is still a chance to break through. Bo replied and continued, the premise is that he wants to break through, not fight to the end. The rock attribute of the Little Fist Stone will deal 4 times the restraining damage to the flying mantis. If Little Fist Stone masters the skill of rock attributes, then flying mantis will be very dangerous. Hu Gu looked at the box left by the little fire dragon player in the corner of the screen and said. The Crimson contestant should go towards the direction of the box as soon as possible. There must be a magical candy inside. Eating it will elevate you to level 6, and then you will be more relaxed in both advancing and retreating than you are now. In the Pok É Mon Escape game, you can gain experience and level up through elf battles, which is a way to upgrade. Another way to upgrade is to collect supplies from various places or eliminate each other among players to obtain magical candies. Magical candies can increase the energy level of elves by 1 level, and are considered a precious item in the Pok É Mon game of Deer's past life. But in Pok É Mon Escape game, magical candies are quite rampant, just like basic Pok É Mon balls, appearing in large numbers in cities or wilderness. If players obtain a large amount of magical candies in a short period of time, they can quickly boost their elf strength. If lagging players rely on luck or surprise attacks to obtain a large number of magical candies, they can catch up with other players in a short period of time and gain the possibility of a comeback. Strong players can also quickly cultivate their newly recruited low-level elves and improve their overall combat power through magical candies. After the player is eliminated, a magical candy with number of elves plus highest level of elves/10 will appear in the box, rounded down. For example, if a player has 5 elves and the highest level of elves is level 30, after being eliminated, in addition to the items they hold, they will also explode an additional 5 plus 3 is equal to 8 magical candies. The little fire dragon player lands in a box, which must not contain any other items, but there will be 1 plus 0 is equal to 1 magical candy inside. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.